Welcome to Python Programming Language video tutorials by Talention India Private Limited. So in this class, I would like to discuss one of the important company-specific program from Accenture. So the theme of this program is operations on binary string. Let us see the problem statement. So you could see the problem statement over here. So binary number system. So I hope everybody is familiar with the binary number system, which consists of zeros and ones. Okay. So let us see the function which we are going to implement over here. So operations binary string. So what this function is going to return? So this function is going to return integer value, and this function accepts one argument which is string. It accepts only a one string, right? So now let us see what is meant by binary string. If you see the sample input over here, so we have to read binary string. So what binary string consists of? So binary string consists of binary digits which are going to separate with one of the alphabet given over here. So what are the different alphabets we can use in order to separate the binary digits? So only A, B, C. So which means you may write here A or B or C, right? So binary digits is going to separate with one of the alphabet given over here. So what A represents? A represents AND operation. So what AND operation? So bitwise AND operation. So what capital B denotes? Bitwise OR operation. What capital C denotes? So it denotes bitwise XOR operation. So I hope everybody is clear. So if you want to solve this program, so one has to be familiar with bitwise operations, right? Bitwise operator, which is AND, OR, and bitwise XOR. So how these operators are working. So if you are familiar with these, so you can easily execute this program. Okay, now you could see over here one of the example given. So here binary digits separated with one of the alphabet given over here. So here capital C given. So what is meant by capital C? So you have to perform an operation called XOR. So which means you may write here XOR, and here also you may write here XOR. Here also you may write here XOR, right? And here AND operation, and here bitwise OR operation. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So prior to go and solve this binary string to get the output as one, so you have to be familiar with how these bitwise operators are working, which means how bitwise XOR is working, how bitwise AND is working, how bitwise OR is working. Now, let us see the truth tables for these operators. So let me open Paint, and now what these operators will do, right? So the bitwise operators, one more, right? So these bitwise operators performs operations only on bits. So I hope everybody is clear with this, right? So bitwise operators is going to perform operations only on the bits. So I hope everybody is familiar with what is meant by bits. So bits means zeros and ones, right? Now, so what are the bitwise operators? So we have to learn in order to execute this program. So you have to learn bitwise, bitwise AND operator, and you have to learn bitwise OR operator. and you have to learn bitwise XOR operator. So these are the three operators you have to learn in order to execute this program. So what is the symbolic notation for bitwise AND? So ampersand and bitwise R, so pipe and bitwise AND. So this is what bitwise XOR operator. So this is what bitwise XOR operator. So this is bitwise AND, bitwise R, and bitwise XOR operator. Right. So now let us see how this bitwise AND is working. Right. So let us take the different inputs we can take. So you may take 0, 0. So and bits like 0, 1 and 1, 0 and 1, 1. So these are the different inputs we can take over here. And let us identify how bitwise AND is working. So if both the inputs are 1, so the resultant is set to 1, right? So only the both the inputs are 1. So the result or output is set to 1. So in the rest of the cases, so it will be 0. So this is what so bitwise AND, right? I hope everybody is clear. Now, how bitwise OR is working? So bitwise OR means if any of the input, so if any of the input is 1, so resultant will be 1, right? So if any of the input is 1, so here 1, here 1, here ones are there. So the resultant output will be 1. So in the rest of the cases, so it will be 0, right? So this is what bitwise are, right? So now let us go ahead and bitwise XOR. So in what way bitwise XOR is working? If we have a different inputs, so the result is set to 1. Result is set to 1. So if we have a different inputs, right? So if we have a same inputs, so the output will be 0, right? So this is what how these bitwise operators are working. Now, if you are familiar with this, now you could easily execute the program or problem statement given over here. So let us go back to the problem statement. So we are going to use this info provided here. So let me open the problem statement again. Now, let me write this sample input over here for easy understanding. So one, so I'm writing here instead of C, XOR. So as we know that already, C stands for XOR given by in the problem statement itself, right? So 1, 0, so XOR 1, C, 1, so bitwise AND 0, so bitwise R and 1, right? Now, so let us identify the result for the first three characters over here, right? So this is what the bitwise XOR. So how bitwise XOR is working? So bitwise XOR is working if we have a different inputs, the result will be 1. So as we discussed already. So instead of 1 bitwise XOR 0, you could write 1. And then, so try to brought down this, the next two characters. So 1 bitwise XOR 1. So now we have same inputs. So when we have a same inputs, so the result will be 0 as we discussed already. So if we have a different inputs, then only the output is set to 1. So in else case, the output will be 0. Now brought down these two, right? So C stands for what? So we have to write it over here. So give me a minute. So we have to write instead of C. So C stands for bitwise XOR, right? So write bitwise XOR over here. So now bitwise XOR and 1, right? So what could be the output over here? So we have a different inputs. So the result will be 1. Now AND operator and 0, right? So now let us see here bitwise AND. So bitwise AND will be working like if we have both inputs are set to be 1, so the result is set to 1. But here 1 and 0 is there. So which means it becomes 0, right? So the result for this expression is 0. Now, so brought down now. So bitwise R and 1. How bitwise R is working? So bitwise R means if we have any input as 1, any input as 1, so obviously the result will be 1. Now you could see we got the output as 1. So I hope everybody is clear in understanding the sample input. In what way we are getting the output as 1, right? Now you could verify this one also so that you could be able to understand. Okay. So now we have a few more note points over here, which are very important in order to clear hidden test cases. Now, if you see, no order of priorities of operations is required. So no order of priorities is there. So now one more important point is length of the string is odd. Now you could see verify here the sample input. So how many characters are there in the string? So which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this length of the string is 11, so which means odd. So length of the string is odd, right? So I hope everybody is clear. Right now, if string is null. So the length of the string is 0 or null. So we have to return -1. We have to return -1. So in case of Python, so if it is a none, we have to return -1. So I hope everybody is clear in understanding the problem statement. So, taking this info into consideration, now let us execute the program. So, let me explain the approach in which we are using in order to execute this program. So, now let me explain the approach in order to execute this program. Okay, so let me take one example. So I'm going to take one binary string over here. So that string I'm going to save it in one variable, that is yes. So s equal to, I'm going to take 1 a 0 c 1. So this is what the string I have taken, a small string I have taken for easy understanding, right? So to execute this program, so I'm going to follow the simple approach. So the approach is, so first I'm going to give you the corresponding indexes for each character in the string. So index 0, we have 1. So it is index 1, and index 2, index 3, index 4. So I hope everybody is clear, right? Now, what we have to do, we need to apply this operation on this string. And whatever the result we are getting, that particular result and this operation we have to perform, right? So we already know that. So capital A, capital B, capital C. Capital A is meant for AND operation, and capital B means OR operation. Capital C means bitwise XOR operation, right? So to solve it, so first I'm going to save uh, character in the string, first character in the string, so which means 1. So in one particular variable. So let me take a equal to a equal to. So how do you access one? Through indexing, right? So first indexing, right? So s of 0, we have 1. So let me write here s of 0, right? So, but, so when we are executing this a equal to s of 0, it returns what? String. So this one will be written in the form of string. But so operations, bitwise operations, we can perform only on the bits. That bits must be integer values. So that try to convert. So I'm doing here typecasting from string to integer, right? Now this one has been converted in terms of integer value, right? In A now, what value has been stored? One has been stored, right? Now try to observe here. So here, how many times we have to perform the operations? We have to perform 2 times, right? So since 1A is there and one C is there. So two alphabets are there. So we have to perform two times the operations we have to perform. So which means AND operation, XOR operations. We have to perform two times, right? So which means I'm going to take one loop. So how many times that loop has been iterated? Two times, because two alphabets are there in the given string, right? So first alphabet, so you could notice, so at index one, right? So I'm going to take I is equal to, I'm writing here one. So this one stored in I, right? So it represents, so this I is going to represent the operations. So for easy understanding, so variable I have taken, which represents operations. So which means alphabets, right? So let me run the loop for how many times? Two times I have to run the loop. Let me write one while loop here. So while I less than, so here the length of the string is 5, right? So let me write 5, so colon. So right, so this loop has to be iterated how many times actually? So two times I have to iterate it. So I have taken I value is 1. So next time when we have to run, so when I equal to 3, we have to run, which means, so I will be updating at the end I value by 2, right? So initially I value is 1. Next time I value is 3, this loop will be executed. So two times this loop will be executed. So that I could find my result. Okay, right. So now what operation we have to perform based on the alphabet, right? So we need to verify whether this operation is AND operation, or bitwise OR operation, or bitwise XOR operation. So I have to verify it, right? Which operation I have to perform, right? For that, I'm going to use conditional statements here. So let me take the conditional statements here. So let me verify it. If so we need to verify capital A, capital B, capital C. So based on the alphabet only, so we have to perform the operation. Right. For that, I'm going to write here S of I. S of I means what? S of 1. So in I we have a 1, right? S of 1. What is S of 1? Capital A. So if it is equal to capital A, what operation we have to perform? And operation we have to perform, right? So I'm performing the AND operation. I'm performing the AND operation. I'm updating in a same value. Let us see. So A equal to, so A, and so whenever S of I equal to A, what we have to perform? AND operation. AND operation. So in A we have 1 already, right? So 1 is there at A. So which means here 1 comes, and bitwise AND operation. And then we have to take 0 over here. So 0 is located at where? Index 2. So how do you represent that one? I'm going to take S of I plus 1. Right? Initially I equal to 1, right? So 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. S of 2 means what? So 0 you will be getting. But this 0 is what? A string format. So that you have to typecast it. So let me write it here. So A is equal to A, and so int of S of I plus 1. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So if it is A, so it will be performing the operation on these 2 bits, and result will be stored in which variable? A only, which means A will be updated. So A initially 1, but this complete result is going to be updated in A only, right? Now, so sometimes I may give here instead of A, might be given. So sometimes a C might be given. So I need to verify that one as well. So if it is L, if I'm writing, so LA, S of I, if it is B. So what operation we have to perform? So A bitwise R int of similar way S of I plus 1, right? So we are going to perform R operation. So if S of I, if it is B, So we are going to perform OR operation. And then LA. So sometimes C might be given. S of I, if it is equal to C, so we have to perform bitwise XOR operation. Bitwise XOR operation. So I hope everybody is clear. So and then what we have to do, we need to increase I value by 2. So I equal to what? I plus 2. I plus 2. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So now let us see what is happening in this particular approach. Let us see step by step. So right. So now what is happening initially? A, which is equal to 1, right? So in A we have 1. So let me give uh, a second. So let me apply the same approach for that you could come to know the iterations over here, right? So S equal to, I have taken this particular string. So initially, so I have taken A is equal to what? Initially, I have taken A equal to 1, right? So then I equal to also 1 I have taken. So since the length of the string is 7, so condition is true. So 1 less than 7, right? Condition is true. So when condition is true, I'm going to apply the operation over here. So A. So in A we have a 1. So what is the operation we have to perform here? So XOR operation. So what is S of I plus 1? 1 plus 1 means S of 2. S of 2 we have a 0. So 1 XOR 0. So we have a different inputs, right? When we have a different inputs, so we will be getting the result as what 1. So in A, we are going to save 1. So now what I'm going to do, I will increase I value by 2. So initially I value is 1. Now I becomes 3, right? So when I becomes 3, now again the condition we have to verify. So is it 3 less than 7? Yes. When condition is true, again I have to update A value. So what is A? Again A we have a 1. Again A we have a 1 only. So this is what updated value for A. Again, A value is 1. So again, you can write here 1. Now we have to perform the operation. Now in this case, operation is what this is completed. Now in this case, operation is what A. So A means bitwise and, right? So again, S of I plus 1. So S of I plus 1 means I value is 3. So 3 plus 1 means S of 4. So what is S of 4? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is S of 4? 1, right? So now S of 4 means 1. So you could write 1. So 1 and 1, what will be the result? So again 1. So again 1. So I hope everybody is clear. So A has been updated with a 1, right? Now you have to update the I value. Now it becomes 5, right? So since I value is 5, now again check it out the condition. So 5 less than 7. The condition is true or not? Yes, condition is true. When condition is true, again you have to update the A value, right? So what is the previous result of A? So 1. Now operation. Now in this case, operation is B. So B means what? Bitwise R. Now S of I plus 1. So what is I value? 5. 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1 means 6. S of 6 means 0. S of 6 means 0. So 1 bitwise R 0. If any of the input is 1, so result is also 1. So again, A has been updated with a 1. Right now, I have to increase I value. Now it becomes 7. So now when I equal to 7, now check it out. So instead of I value here 7, now let me erase over here, right? So here we have a 7, right? So now is it 7 less than 7? Condition is false. When condition is false, so what is the updated value of A? So 1. So hence that will be the output you are getting. That will be the output you are getting. Now you just try to verify manually 1C0, A1, B0, right? So let me write 1. So this is bitwise XOR, 0, bitwise AND, 1, and then B means bitwise OR and 0. So what is the output for these different inputs? Result is 1. So and 1 and 1 result is 1 and R0 result is 1. So that is what the output we are getting. So I hope everybody is clear with this explanation part. Okay. So now you could see uh, the approach which I have explained over here. So I'm going to try in my IDE. So let me open my IDE. So I will be open my IDE now and let us verify it. So let me take the same example. So I'm going to take S equal to, so since it is a binary string, so let me take the same example, 1C0, 1C0, A, 1B0. So I'm taking same example. Now, so I'm going to take variable A, which is equal to, I'm going to store. So the first character, let me increase the size so that it would be visible to you, right? So we have stored the first character in the string, but it is in the string format. So we have to convert in terms of integer format. So let me write int of s of 0, right? So which means in A we have a 1, right? So for operations purpose, I'm going to create one more variable I equal to 1. So how many times this, I mean, we have to iterate one loop which we are going to take now. So 3 times because 3 operations are there. So for that, so I'm going to use here while loop. So while I less than, I'm going to take length of s. So what is the length of s over here? So 7. Length of s is 7, right? Length of s is 7. So clearly, so when I equal to 1, we have started. So this loop has to be iterated 3 times. So further, I'm going to updating I value as by 2, right? So when I equal to 1, so loop will be executed, and then I equal to 3, loop will be executed. When I equal to 5, loop will be executed, right? So 3 times, so loop is going to be executed, right? So I hope everybody is clear. Now, what I'm going to do here, now, what operation we have to perform based on the alphabet which is there in the given string. So for that, I'm going to verify the condition here. So if S of I, which means S of 1, so in S of 1, we have here C first. So first, if it is A, I'm going to perform AND operation and I'm going to update in A. So A equal to, so A and, so which means A in A we have a 1 right now, 1 and, so and then we have to get 0. So how do you get 0? So yes, I plus 1, but it saves the data in the format of string. So try to convert in terms of integer format because these bitwise operators works on bits. So those must be in integer values. Okay. So elif s of I, if it is equal to b, so I have to perform so bitwise OR operation, right? So similar way, int of s of I plus 1, right? So in next case, elif, so s of I equal to c. So in this case, I need to perform bitwise XOR operator int of s of I plus 1, right? So, and then what I will do, I will be increasing I value by 2. So which means I equal to 1. So it will be executed. Next iteration, I equal to 3. 3 means, so this is going to perform. So according to this string, it is going to perform the AND operation. Then next iteration, I equal to 5. So when I equal to 5, it is performing so OR operation, right? So if I value increased by 2 more, I become 7. Since length of S is 7, then what will happen? So condition will be failed. So control will be coming out of the loop, right? So now when you come outside, you just try to find out or print A, right? Now let me execute it. See, the output is 1. So I hope everybody is clear, right? So now let us write this program under one function which is given in the problem statement. Now let us execute the same program under the function. So let me write here. So def. So function name given over there is operations binary string. So this is what the function name given. So you have to pass one argument, that is string. So let us pass it and then just try to take the input from the user. So let me read the string from the user. For that, I'm going to use input function, right? So now you have to call the function. So let us call the function and save it in the result, right? So operations, let us copy it. So I have called the function here. So function call will go to where function definition. So from fourth line to, it will move to where in first line, right? So whatever the result that this function is giving, that has been stored in result, okay? And then it would print the result, right? I hope everybody is clear. Now let us write the code. So let me take a equal to, so int of, so s of, so 0. So right. So which means the 0 index element will be saved in A. So I'm going to take one more variable for operations, right? So I equal to 1. So how many times I'm going to run the loop? So while I less than, so length of, yes. So I hope everybody is clear so far what I said. Now I have to verify the operations here. If S of I S of I equal to, so capital A. So I need to perform the operation called AND. So I'm writing here, so A and equal to, so int of S of I plus 1. So which means what? Let me write the comment. So A equal to A and, so int of S of I plus 1. So both are same students, right? So now I need to write LA S of I equal to B. So in this case, I need to perform what operation? OR operation. So let us copy and paste it. So instead of AND, now we are performing what? OR operation, right? So one more, LA. So if S of I equal to C, so in this case, I need to perform so bitwise XOR operation, right? So and then what I will do, I need to increase I value by 2. So and then what I have to return, whatever the thing is saved where. So in A, so A will be updated every time, right? So if you're going to return A, so this function is going to return A finally, right? So that I'm going to save in result, right? So what is happening here? So first this line will be executed. So from line 1 to, it will be coming to line 14. So that, so whatever the input given by the user will be saved in C, yes. So and then, so line number 15 is going to be executed, right? So result equal to, so now we are calling the function. So when function is called here, so function call will move to the function definition. So and then So these lines will be executed as we have discussed already, right? So, and then this function is going to return what? A. So finally, it is going to, return A. So that A value will be stored in result. Okay. So that I'm going to print the result now. So now let me execute it so that you could identify. So I'm going to execute it. So let me write here. So 1. So let me give C. So 0. So B 1. So I'm going to give here only a small string where length is 5. Now, what is the output we are getting? 1. Now, let us see. So, 1 XOR 0, it is 1, right? So, 1 B 1, right? So, B means OR operator. So, if any of the input is 1, so it returns 1. So, we got the exact output. Okay. So, I hope everybody is clear with the explanation part of this program. Now, if let us see a problem statement once. So if string is null, so or none in case of Python, so we have to return -1, right? So now, so let us add this condition. So in the program in which we have written, okay. So let us write it over here, click enter. And now, so let me write it here, condition. If, so length of, yes. So whatever the string entered by the user, if length consists of 0 or equal to none. So in this case, what I have to return? I have to return -1. Okay. So else this program will be executed. Okay. So I'm writing here else. So and this program has to be executed. Okay. So now let me execute once again. So let us see the input I am going to give you here, nothing. Now it is going to return -1, right? It is going to return -1. No input I have given. So which means length of yes will be null or none, right? So which means we got output as -1. Now let me execute it once again. Now I'm going to give different inputs here. So 1, A 0, B 0, C 1. Now you could see 1 as output. So one more time I'm going to execute it. So let us give the input given over here 1C0, 1C0, C1, C1, and then A0, B1, A0, B1. Now click enter. So we are getting output as 1, right? Now let us see what output we got it here. Here also 1. Right. I hope everybody understood. So what I have explained over here. So now you could see the flow of execution. So flow of execution is quite simple. So so first line will be executed. So after the first line, so where it will come? So it will coming to 17th line. So this line will be executed where user will give the input. So and then so 18th line will be executed. So in 18th line we have a function call. So function call means so control will move to the again line 1, right? So and then it will be check the condition. So if condition is true, it returns -1, right? So obviously we are getting output as -1. If condition is false, so control will move from 2 to 5. So and then this code will be executed as we discussed. Okay. So line by line executed. So finally, this function is going to return A. So whatever the output we are getting, so that is going to store in result variable, right? So in 19, so we are going to print that result. So hence we are getting output. So I hope everybody is clear with this program explanation part. So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment box. So I'll try to answer those doubts. So thanks for watching. So if you like my videos, please subscribe our channel. Thank you.